A woman was arrested and accused of keeping her stepson captive for decades. State officials are now demanding more transparency from the Department of Children and Family Services. Thank you for joining us here for the Fox 61 News at 5. I'm Tim Lammers. After Kimberly Sullivan's arrest, DCF said it did follow agency standards that were set at the time. But lawmakers are now saying that's not enough. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson is in Waterbury with more on what officials are doing to get more information from that department.
Since she's been arrested, Kimberly Sullivan has been in the spotlight as her and her team try to fight the charges against her. But as prosecutors point the finger at Sullivan, lawmakers like Senator Stephen Harding are pointing the finger at the Department of Children and Family Services.
Initially, there seemed to be an indication by DCF that they were going to investigate this fully and they would be transparent about the answers that they uncovered. However, we're now 4+ months later. We have little to no answers.
Senator Harding and other minority Republicans believe there's been a lack of transparency from DCF about their investigation and a lack of urgency to release any possible findings to the public. More than 20 years ago, DCF visited the house of the alleged captive, but say they didn't find anything of concern. After Sullivan's arrest in March, the department released a statement saying, quote, "There were no records located in that system related to this case. Unsubstantiated investigations and investigation protocols are expunged in the electronic case record after 5 years unless a subsequent investigation is substantiated in accordance with state law." However, the department mentioned records were found in the archive closed records and they'd be reviewing them and making any reforms to practices as needed.
From what I understood, that they were going to look further into it and find some records beyond the 5-year period to really track down what occurred here. Now, 4+ months later, when there's still no answers, even an update would be probably more progress on an update to the public than what we have, frankly, now.
Senator Harding says the department's silence is not a good look to the public, and there needs to be a consistent pipeline of communication.
It's not serving anyone in the public any good by hiding information, which I frankly, at this point, it's gone on so long, I have to say that something's being hidden.
In DCF's most recent statement issued to Fox 61, they said, quote, "Our review to date shows that our case practice was consistent with agency standards at the time and that we did not deviate from our policies and practices. It is worthy to note that our policies and practices have significantly evolved over the past 2 decades and we are prepared to discuss those changes." Commissioner Jody Hill-Lilly says a meeting has been scheduled with Senate leadership over DCF's review of the case, but Harding believes meetings like this should be made public.
Having meetings behind closed doors at this point on an issue that is as tragic as what occurred here, it could potentially expose some liability, unfortunately, on the state of Connecticut and others who probably should have done things to protect this man.
Senator Harding says by putting more pressure on DCF, he hopes to get more answers as to what their investigation has uncovered. In Waterbury, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.